All right, today we're talking about a nation that's performing one of the most incredible high-wire acts on the planet. We're diving into the story of modern India, a country that is absolutely reaching for the stars, aiming for global superpower status, while at the same time, it's grappling with some monumental challenges right at home. So that really brings us to the central question for this whole explainer, right? How does a nation with these massive ambitions to lead the world, to explore space, to become a tech giant, how does it manage all of that when its own internal systems are under such immense strain? This is the paradox, the real puzzle at the heart of India's story today. Think of it like a two-sided coin. On one side, you've got India's incredible global triumphs, hosting the G20, launching these super sophisticated space missions. But then you flip that coin over and you see the domestic reality, a justice system that is just crushed under the weight of millions of cases, cities with some of the worst air quality on Earth, and critical resources like water facing severe contamination. These are the two Indias we're going to be exploring. Okay, so let's kick things off on the global stage, because India isn't just sitting back and reacting to the world anymore. Oh no, it's actively shaping its role in it, from securing its own pretty volatile borders to projecting its power across entire continents. Now, to really understand India's security strategy, you have to understand the chicken's neck. I mean, just look at it. It's an incredibly vulnerable spot. This tiny, tiny strip of land, just 22 kilometers wide at its narrowest point, is the only land link to 8 of India's northeastern states. If that corridor were ever blocked, that entire region would be completely cut off. So what's India doing about it? Well, in response to regional pressures, especially from China, they've set up 3 new military garrisons right near the corridor. And this isn't just about playing defense, it's about projecting stability. They've moved in elite forces like the Tri-Shakti Corps and armed them with top-tier hardware like Rafale jets and BrahMos cruise missiles. It's sending a very loud and clear message. Meanwhile, halfway across the world, India's building a totally different kind of influence in Africa. Here, it's in a quiet but serious competition with China. But instead of China's model, the big infrastructure projects for big loans that sometimes lead to accusations of debt-trap diplomacy, India is focusing on people. It's offering up its digital public infrastructure, like its phenomenally successful UPI payment system, and it's providing technical training to tens of thousands of Africans. But make no mistake, the scale of this competition is absolutely massive. While India's annual trade with Africa has hit a really impressive $100 billion, China's is literally double that. So India is playing the long game here, betting that building up skills and partnerships will create stronger, more sustainable alliances than just pure financial power. All right, let's pivot now from geopolitics to the second huge pillar of India's global ambition. It's just explosive growth as a technological power. And we're not just talking about IT support anymore. We're talking about deep, strategic, cutting-edge tech. And this right here is a perfect example. India's space agency, ISRO, recently nailed something called Bootstrap Start Mode for its powerful cryogenic engines. So what does that even mean? Well, in simple terms, it means the rocket engine can restart itself multiple times in the vacuum of space without any outside help. This is an absolute game changer for complex missions, like landing on other planets or moving satellites around with precision. And this same technological leap is happening in its military. India is adopting advanced systems with fire-and-forget technology. Think about it. The operator locks onto a target, fires the missile, and can immediately run for cover while the missile guides itself the rest of the way. It's a hugely sophisticated capability that dramatically increases a soldier's effectiveness and, more importantly, their chances of survival. But the ultimate technological frontier for India, the big one, is artificial intelligence. And this quote just captures the national strategy perfectly. The thinking is that in the 21st century, real power isn't just about armies or economies, it's about tech dominance. So achieving AI sovereignty, developing its own AI models and capabilities, is seen as absolutely essential for its national security and its goal of being a global power by 2047. Okay, we've seen the soaring ambition, but now we have to flip the coin. Because for every incredible leap forward on the world stage, there is a deep foundational crack at home that really threatens to undermine the entire thing. And to really wrap our heads around these challenges, we need to understand this concept, a wicked problem. It's a problem that is so complex, so tangled up with other issues, involving so many people and political factors, that there's just no simple fix. And Delhi's air pollution? It's the textbook example. I mean, the complexity here is just staggering. You can't just blame one thing. Construction dust is a massive factor, sure, but so are the millions of cars and trucks, industrial emissions, and even farmers burning crops in neighboring states. Then, the region's geography acts like a bowl, trapping all that polluted air. To solve it, you'd need multiple state governments to coordinate perfectly, and that often fails to happen. It's a perfect storm of a problem. And the cost of these wicked problems is just heartbreaking. Let's just run through a few stark numbers. For someone living in Delhi, the severe air pollution is estimated to slash their life expectancy by an average of 10 years, an entire decade. Now let's zoom out. If you look at all the environmental damage, and that includes widespread water contamination, the economic hit is enormous. We're talking about an estimated $80 billion lost every single year. That's a huge drag on the very economy India needs to power its ambitions. And finally, there's the justice system. Right now, there are nearly 47 million cases backlogged in the lower courts. This kind of logjam doesn't just deny people timely justice, it also chokes business and economic growth. It's a fundamental crack in the bedrock of the entire country. So, this brings us to the final and most crucial question of all. How does India balance these two completely different realities? Can it actually repair these deep internal cracks before they jeopardize its climb to the top? Now, the good news is that people are working on this. Solutions are on the table. For the judicial crisis, for instance, proposed reforms include modernizing some really archaic laws, creating special courts just to handle administrative stuff so judges can actually judge, and just streamlining the whole process. So the ideas are there. The real question is about political will and, honestly, speed. And this brings us to the ultimate takeaway here. You just can't separate the two sides of that coin. It's impossible. A nation can't project power and influence abroad for the long haul if its foundations at home, its environment, its justice system, its people's health are crumbling. The very same energy and resources you need to fix those internal problems are the ones you need to compete on the world stage. Which leaves us with this final hanging question. India clearly has the ambition, it has the talent, and it has incredible momentum. But its internal challenges are every bit as massive as its global aspirations. And whether it can mend its own fabric fast enough to truly realize its dream of becoming a global power, well, that remains the defining question of its 21st century story.